If you guys follow JJ Smith out of San Francisco, he does a lot of interesting videos. And he came around a corner in San Francisco in, I believe it was the Tenderloin, and noticed a big line of homeless people. And he started asking them what's going on. And he said, oh, we're standing in line to put our signature on a document. They said they'll give us $5 each. And when he gets up to the front of the table, he asked the people like what it was, and they're collecting signatures for a ballot initiative. Yeah, that's right, folks. Ballot initiatives where you collect signatures from registered voters, where those voters have to provide their signature, their address, and all of their information in order to get that ballot or that ballot initiative on the ballot. Well, yeah, they were paying homeless people to sign their signatures. Many of them, how do you know they're registered voters? Well, let's watch this from Ashley Zavala here. Oh, I gotta share. Oh, I already am sharing. All right, so this appears to show pay. This is from Ashley Zavala talking about some nonprofit organization paying homeless people for their signatures.
This investigation centers on this video that is circulating online. It appears to show paid signature collectors in San Francisco offering money to people on the streets if they sign the petitions using other people's voter registration information.
You hear that? So yeah, the chick at the table's like, yeah, we're just actually sign this name for us. What? This is massive voter fraud.
This would be a violation of state law. KCRA 3's political director Ashley Zavala is here now. So let's start with who's involved.
Yeah, well, this video is raising a lot of flags for folks tonight. These signature gatherers are people who are paid to find registered voters and get those voters to sign petitions. And when they get enough signatures, the proposal lands on the ballot and is presented to you, the voter.
Wait till you hear what the ballot initiative is.
It is against the law for anyone to forge someone else's information. But the man who captured the scene on video tells us that's exactly what has been happening in San Francisco.
I get $5 too?
Yeah.
And what is it?
Just sign it.
Just sign it?
Yeah. You ready?
He says, what is it? What am I signing? She says, just sign it. What? Like, you guys, listen to this again.
Just sign it.
Just sign it?
Yeah.
San Francisco.
I get $5 too?
Yeah.
And what?
I get $5? Yeah.
What is it?
Just sign it.
What is it? Just sign it. What?
Just sign it?
Yeah. You ready now? First name is going to be Carol.
San Francisco Street.
Do you hear what the instructions she's giving to this other person? Just sign it. Your first name is going to be Carol. She's telling this person to use someone else's name. So she has a list of registered voters, and she's paying homeless people $5 to sign as if they were those registered voters. Are you guys following how insane this is? This is what they're doing. This is massive voter fraud.
Videographer JJ Smith capturing what appears to be a crime on camera. Paid signature gatherers offering people $5 to sign ballot initiative petitions using other people's names and information. Smith shot and posted this video on Monday.
What I seen shocked me and surprised me because they was literally coaching people, telling them what name to sign and what address to put down there. And what was more shocking than that is they had that information printed out already on an official document.
How insane is that? They have a list of registered voters. They offer a bunch of people $5. Like, who gives a shit about $5? So there's probably homeless people that want to score some drugs. They offer them $5 to not only sign the document, but sign it as if they were someone else. Forge the document. It's insane. This is JJ Smith. You guys should follow him. He DM'd me a couple of weeks ago. He's like, hey, I'm coming to Santa Cruz. You know of a cool hotel I can stay at? So I gave him some hotel recommendations. Hopefully he comes here soon and we can hang out.
We've learned the signature collectors in Smith's video were doing so for ballot initiatives backed by billionaires fighting a proposed wealth tax. The measures include proposals to...
So this is what so you guys hear what they're collecting signatures for? Because they know that Californians do not support this. It's for the wealth tax. And this wealth tax, what they're calling a wealth tax, is actually to tax people on their savings account that is over a certain threshold. So that's what they're calling. So what are they going to set that threshold at? If you got $250,000 in your savings account, they're going to tax you 5% of that. Yeah, that's what they're fraudulently collecting ballot signatures for. Listen to that again.
Billionaires fighting a proposed wealth tax. The measures include proposals to invalidate the tax, require audits, and other tax transparency tools. The campaigns for that are known as Building a Better California and Californians for a More Transparent and Effective Government. Another petition was for a separate campaign for a proposed Retirement and Personal Savings Protection Act. All three campaigns acknowledged their petitions were being carried by these signature gatherers. Today, I spoke with representatives for each campaign. All said they were made aware of the video. They're demanding the firm identify these circulators seen in the video and reject their petitions.
These organizations knew exactly what their people were doing. These people didn't just go out and say, you know what, I'm working for this organization. We need to collect signatures, and this cause is so important for me. I'm going to take it upon myself to give them, what, are they giving the $5 out of their own pocket? No, it's funded by these organizations. These organizations know exactly what they're doing, and now they're going to try to throw the signature collectors under the bus as if they were doing it just under their own free will. Bullshit.
Campaign officials said the circulators are not directly affiliated with them. They also said they've contacted the appropriate authorities. Smith said none of the proposals were explained to the people in line.
All those people that was lining up for it, they're down on their luck. I sat there for 2 hours, and there was like, man, hundreds of people just came and went.
To be clear, that's not the first time you've seen those signature collectors essentially out there or in the area?
No, I seen it like 4 days ago. Prior to that, they was out there.
Smith told me as of this moment, the campaigns involved have not reached out to him directly. But to take a step back, campaigns hire signature gathering firms. I'm told for anywhere between $15 to $17 a signature. Those firms then hire people to collect the signatures. We still obviously have several questions tonight, such as why do those signature collectors have voter information, and where exactly did they get the extra money to pay people on the street for the apparently forged information?
Exactly. So do you guys think these signature collectors just looked up the voter registration information on their own and then decided to take money out of their own pockets to pay people for these signatures? No way. They were given instruction. Here's registered voters. Go pay homeless people to forge these documents and give them each $5. Here's a bunch of cash to give out. That's what they did. This is insane.
So, of course, the Secretary of State oversees elections. What is that office saying?
Yeah, so we know that she's definitely investigating, because right before our interview with Smith, he told us he had just gotten off the phone with their chief investigator. In a statement, a spokesperson for the Secretary of State's office told us in part that the signature gathering process is an important part of our democracy, and those who abuse our system will be held accountable. She also urged anyone with information to contact, again, the Secretary of State's office. They have a form online.
Insane. So now a little more about this ballot initiative, which is insane. This wealth tax ballot initiative that they want to do. So this is from, I don't know this guy's name, but Last Beacon of Hope, God Bless America, reposted this. So let's watch this video. I don't know this guy's name, but he explains what this actual ballot initiative is.
California is now collecting signatures to tax your savings account. 5%, your bank account, your retirement, your home equity. And the part that made me laugh this morning, I told you this was coming. A buddy texted me a clip, news anchor, Dallas, Texas, not even California, breaking the story that Sacramento is coming for your savings account.
California labor unions have advanced a ballot initiative that would slap a one-time 5% tax on the savings accounts of the state's residents to make up for overspending in other areas like illegal migrants.
So I started digging, and what I found is going to make you absolutely sick. This isn't a billionaire tax. This is stage 2 of the biggest financial mugging in California history. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what they're doing, exactly who is doing it, and exactly what you need to do about it. So let's start with a lie, because there's always a lie. They're calling it the Billionaire Tax Act, and 50% of Californians hear that and think, hey, sure, tax the billionaires. I'm not a billionaire.
If you were voting today, would you support or oppose the initiative? Little concerning. 50% of Californians are like, yeah, sure, I'll tax the billionaires.
That's exactly what they're counting on. Now, here's the truth. The billionaires already left. And I already told you this. Elon Musk didn't stay to pay it. Larry Ellison didn't stay to pay it. The second this thing got proposed, they hired attorneys.
So I will say this is exactly how California government dupes voters into voting for things that are against their best interest. They will call it, the Everyone Gets a Puppy Act. And what that act actually does is comes to your house and kills your puppy. Like that's how the California gas tax got passed. That's how the proposition that made, I can't remember the number of the proposition, but the proposition that essentially decriminalized theft under $950, that act, that's how that passed. They tried to say that was actually to promote safety on the streets. Like all of these propositions that they try to pass that'll extract more money from people, make the streets more dangerous, primarily get more money out of the middle class. They always name them something that sounds like the exact opposite of what they're actually doing.
Transferred their assets and they were gone. Nevada, Texas, Florida. I covered this and I showed you exactly how it works.
Bunch of the billionaires who are the initial targets of the Democrats' wealth tax, they fled. They just left California.
So Sacramento did the math. If the billionaires leave, oops, the middle class becomes the billionaire. And now they got a $30 billion budget hole, not because revenue is down, because they can't stop spending your money. Free health.
And a huge amount of that money that they're spending, causing their massive deficit, is for health insurance for illegal immigrants due to our sanctuary state policies. California doesn't have an income problem. They have a spending problem. The high-speed rail, the homeless industrial complex, medical insurance for illegal immigrants, all of these things that many of them are massive money laundering operations. They can't take them off the table. So instead of cutting spending, how can we gouge the middle class for more money to make up for our fraud and incompetence? Primarily fraud. At this point, anybody that still thinks that this is just a bunch of oopsie daisies, misallocation of resource, incompetence crap, you're out of your mind. This is fraud. This is money laundering operations to keep them in power, to keep a Democrat supermajority in California. That's what a ton of these, the majority of these initiatives are designed to do. Just keep a Democrat supermajority, and they'll fund all of these nonprofit organizations that are taking the money, not solving the problem, and actually paying their executives hundreds of thousands of dollars per year, sometimes millions of dollars.
Healthcare for illegal immigrants, free cell phones, free housing, while you are cutting back on dinners going out, while your kids are drowning in student loans. Sacramento just keeps spending. And
thank you, Casey Martin. So Casey Martin over on Rumble just told me Prop 47. So Prop 47 was the proposition that decriminalized theft under $950, made it essentially legal to go and openly do drugs on the streets, like shoot up heroin and fentanyl and shit and camp on the streets. I just had Jeff Reisig on my show a couple of weeks ago. He's the district attorney out of Yolo County. He helped author Prop 36 to repeal that. So that proposition that decriminalized theft under $950, made it legal to do drugs on the streets and a bunch of other shit. It was Prop 47, and they called it the Safe Schools and Neighborhood Act. That's what they called the act that decriminalized theft under $950 and allowed drugs to be used openly on the streets, contributing to Skid Row and the Tenderloin downfall. They called it the Safe Schools and Neighborhoods Act. Again, they call them the exact opposite of the thing that they actually do. It's insane. Thank you, Casey Martin.
when they run out of money, they invent a new tax. Now, let me take you back to 1913. Congress passes the income tax. You know what they said? Only the top 0.5% of earners will ever pay this.
And it'll be temporary.
Only the ultra wealthy. Let me ask you a question. Did you pay income tax last April 15th? Yeah, you did. Property tax? That was for wealthy landowners. Gas tax, mileage tax, every single one started as a tax on someone else. Every single one ended up in your wallet.
So you work hard You're already giving government all this money through sales tax and property tax and income tax, gas tax, car tax, all these taxes. And if by the end of the year you're managing to scrimp and save a little bit of money, government's not done yet. They want that too.
And now they're doing it again, right in front of your face, and they think you're too distracted to notice.
They always say they're going to tax the rich person over there, but sure enough, before you know it, yep, we're all paying that tax that they.
So keep in mind this thing that they're trying to get on the ballot. That I can't wait to see what they're going to call it. I think we already talked about it, but this very ballot initiative is the same ballot initiative that J.J. Smith caught them fraudulently paying people to collect signatures for. That's how insane this is, and guaranteed this goes all the way up to the top. Everybody knows what's going on with it. This is just a huge example of the corruption going on in California government. I'm surprised Nick Shirley hasn't stumbled across this yet.
Promised would only be paid by someone else.
So I did the math because nobody else is going to do it for you. The average California homeowner, you've been here for 30 years, you did everything right. You've got about $400,000 in home equity, $200,000 in your 401k, $30,000 in your savings. That's $630,000 in assets. Gavin Newsom and the rest of the guys in Sacramento, they want 5% of that, $31,500. That's not a billionaire tax. That's a middle-class liquidation fee.
It would be a tax that would allow government to take a percentage of whatever you have in your checking account, your savings account, your 401k, your stock portfolio, your home equity, anything that you have of value. Government can come in and say, okay, this year we're going to take a flat percentage, 6%, 7%, 5%.
And they said it.
And do you think that if your home loses value, if the stock market tanks and you lose a bunch of value in your 401k, do you think the state is going to give you, oh, you know what? We're going to give you 5% of your losses. Do you think you're going to get a check there? No, they're going to tax your assets. All things that you can't just. It would be one thing if you liquidated all those assets and they taxed you on that because it's income, which I still wouldn't agree with. But it's not like you're liquidating your assets. They're just like, it's like a what do they call it? Unrealized gains. We're going to tax you. It's an unrealized gains tax is what this is on the middle class, not the billionaires.
It's one time. Yeah, the income tax was one time too. Now, let's say it goes the way every California tax goes. Year 2, $31,500. Year 3, $31,500. 5 years from now, you've written Sacramento a check for $157,000 on money you already paid taxes on equity that you built with your own hands. Now, here's what should make your blood absolutely boil. Carl DeMaio went to the assembly floor, introduced a constitutional amendment. It's called the ACA 14. All it said was this: California can't ever impose a savings tax on a resident. Guarantee, in writing, forever. If Democrats were telling the truth, if this really was only going to hit billionaires, they would have voted yes without blinking. Guess what they did? They killed it.
Democrats killed that bill. I said, look, you say that, you're only going to tax billionaires. Here's your chance to give us a guarantee that the middle class working families are never going to have to be worried about being grandfathered into a savings tax. They didn't do that at all.
They looked you in the eye and they said no, because they were planning to stop at the billionaires. And who's out on the street corners right now collecting signatures to put this on your November ballot? California labor unions. The same unions that run Sacramento, the same unions whose pensions are bankrupting cities across the state.
The same unions that are canceling Cesar Chavez with sexual allegations 30 years after his death because they're trying to steer the attention away from Dolores Huerta, who is being sued for unfair labor practices. Interesting.
They need your savings account to keep their machine running.
Well, here's a fast fact for you. Governor Gavin Newsom's California is set to start taxing savings accounts to make up for a $30 million budget deficit.
Now, let me talk to you directly. Get off your ass. Read the bills. I know it's boring. Read them anyway, because this is exactly how they get you.
The measure targets wealthy people, potentially raking in about $25 billion for a dedicated fund that many say will be used for illegal migrant services.
They make it complicated, so you tune out.
And that's the hugest point too. And it's the thing that makes us Californians look like crazy liberals. Granted, we have a lot of crazy liberals here, but the vast majority of Californians are just trying to go to work, play with their kids, go to Disneyland and sporting events and just live their lives. They're not paying attention to all this shit. They're not weirdos like me. They don't have the time to read every bill, but they'll vote Democrat by default because they don't realize what the legislature is actually going to do to kick them in the balls as right after they vote Democrat. It gives Californians a bad name when most Californians are not these crazy liberals that, hate everybody on the right. It's not like that. I'm on the right. I work with all these people every day. Most people aren't like that. Yeah, there's some, but most people are just not paying attention and just trying to live their lives. This is what the California government counts on, you not knowing what's going on and taking advantage of you for that.
Second you tune out, they take your money. Stop voting for new taxes. I don't care what they call it, a billionaire tax, a wealth tax, road use charge. It's a new tax. Vote no every damn time. No exceptions. Think about it this way. If your family had a budget problem, you'd stop going out. You'd cut back. You'd figure it out. You wouldn't call your neighbor and say, hey man, give me 5% of your savings account because I can't stop spending. That's what Sacramento is doing to you every year, like clockwork. April 15th is coming. You're about to write a check to the IRS and to California. And while you're signing that check, union organizers are on street corners collecting signatures to take another 5% of everything that you have left.
Critics also say that the wealth tax will then start being charged to people who are worth $1 million, then $250,000, then everyone in the state.
My best friend, I think he has a net worth of like $1.2 million, which sounds like a crazy amount, right? It's not. It's not in California. And that's including, so his net worth, that's his home. It's the value of his home. Probably has a net worth of like $2 million actually, because I believe the home he lives in is worth like $600,000, $700,000. Lives out in the Granite Bay area. Shit, it might be worth $1 million. I don't know. I don't know what his net worth is. Might be $3 million. Who knows? But the point is, my best friend is not drowning in money. He can't, he's not paycheck to paycheck. But if he lost his job, 2 months later, he's going to be in dire straits. They might have to sell their home. They might have to move out of state. He's middle class in California. And that's exactly who these insane politicians are targeting. My best friend, who's done well for himself because he's smart, because he's a good person, because he's a great family man. That's who they're targeting. The good, hardworking people of California is who the California government targets to recoup the money for their insane money laundering operations and fraudulent tactics. It's insane. The California government hates the middle class.
They couldn't trap the billionaires, so now they're coming for the people who stayed. Your savings, your retirement, your house.
If you enact the tax and we lose revenues, which we will, how worried are you that the middle class Californians will end up having to pay higher taxes to offset the difference? 67% concerned.
Because Sacramento has one rule. If the money exists, they'll take it.
There it is, folks. Don't fall for it. Anytime you see something on the ballot that's my sort of rule of thumb with all of the ballot initiatives is vote no. My rule of thumb. The only ballot initiative that I've voted yes on recently was, I believe it was Prop 36. Is that right, Casey Martin? That was the one to repeal aspects of Prop 47. I believe it was Prop 36. And that was to make it so $950 isn't, they didn't decriminalize it anymore. They got rid of it. So it used to be if you steal less than $950, it's a misdemeanor. And that meant you could go to 10 different stores in the same day, steal less than $950, and that's just 10 different misdemeanors, which no police or no district attorney is going to charge. They're just, no, it's a misdemeanor. We're not even going to go after it. What Prop 36 did is it meant if you went to a store and stole $900, then you went to another store and stole another $900 worth of stuff, that's now a felony. So it got rid of that decriminalization of theft of $950, essentially. I mean, it's still there. You can still go to a store, steal less than $950, and it's not a crime, essentially. That's what they did there.